Did you know that India's global influence is so powerful, some countries literally can't function without it? Seriously, from everyday essentials like food and medicine to cutting-edge tech, India is the silent engine keeping parts of the world running. In this video, we're diving into 8 countries that, in 2025, just can't survive without India. And trust me, the facts we've uncovered will blow your mind. Make sure you stick around till the very end. Country number 1 is so unexpected, it might just leave you speechless. So buckle up for a journey that's going to change how you see global power. Let's jump in. India's rise on the world stage isn't just impressive, it's unstoppable. In 2025, with a population crossing 1.4 billion and a GDP on track to hit $4 trillion, India is making waves across continents. From life-saving pharmaceuticals to the food on your plate to the tech behind your favorite apps, India is right at the center. All right, let's kick things off with the first country that depends heavily on India. Number 1. Sri Lanka. Let's talk about India's southern neighbor, Sri Lanka, a country that's more connected to India's economy than most people realize. After the massive economic meltdown in 2022, it was India that came to the rescue, offering over $4 billion in aid, including desperately needed fuel and fertilizers that kept things running. Fast forward to 2025, and India's support hasn't just continued, it's deepened. The Adani Group has poured $1.5 billion into Sri Lanka's renewable energy sector, sparking job growth and helping stabilize the country's fragile power grid. And it doesn't stop there. Roughly 30% of Sri Lanka's medicines and 20% of its food come directly from India. That's a huge chunk of essential supplies. Add to that the newly updated free trade agreement signed in April 2025, which slashed tariffs and made Indian imports even more accessible. And suddenly, India's role in Sri Lanka's recovery looks absolutely critical. The bottom line? Without India's continued support, Sri Lanka's road to recovery would hit a dead end, potentially dragging the country back into crisis mode. This growing interdependence isn't just about 2 countries, it has the power to shake the entire South Asian region. Right now, Sri Lanka's future, it's riding shotgun with India's economic engine. Number 2, Nepal. Up next is Nepal, that stunning Himalayan nation known for its breathtaking mountains and its deep-rooted ties with India. With an open border and centuries of shared history, Nepal leans heavily on its southern neighbor for survival. And we're not exaggerating. Over 60% of Nepal's imports, from essentials like fuel, food, and grains to life-saving medicines, come directly from India. In January 2025, India stepped in again with a $1.2 billion credit line to fund Nepal's infrastructure projects, tightening the bond even further. Now, here's the kicker. If India's supply chain were suddenly cut off, Nepal's economy would almost instantly stall. Why? Because alternative routes like those through China are expensive, slower, and far less reliable. But it's not a one-way street. Nepal's hydropower exports to India have jumped 15% this year, proving how mutually dependent this relationship has become. Long story short, Nepal and India are more than just neighbors. They're economic lifelines for each other, and in 2025, that connection has never been stronger. Halfway through, let's head to the Middle East. Number 3, Qatar. At first glance, Qatar, with its glitzy skyline and massive gas reserves, might seem completely self-sufficient. But here's the twist. This wealthy Gulf nation leans heavily on India for some of its most basic needs. For starters, India supplies about 25% of Qatar's rice and vegetables, a vital lifeline for its 2.9 million residents. And in 2025, that relationship deepened when Qatar renewed a $3 billion trade deal with India focused on, you guessed it, agricultural imports. But food is just one piece of the puzzle. Over 700,000 Indian workers live and work in Qatar, fueling everything from infrastructure to hospitality. These workers send home a staggering $10 billion in remittances each year, not only boosting India's economy but also powering Qatar's rapid development, especially its ongoing construction boom. And the bond goes both ways. Qatar's LNG, liquefied natural gas, exports to India hit record highs in 2025, making India one of its top energy customers. So what happens if this link breaks? Without Indian food and manpower, Qatar's growth engine could stall hard. In a world of shifting alliances, Qatar is doubling down on India, and it's easy to see why. This isn't just an economic partnership anymore, it's a lifeline for both nations.
Number 7, Maldives. Now we're heading to the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean, where the stunning island nation of the Maldives isn't just a tropical paradise. It's a country that depends heavily on India for both survival and stability. As a tourism-driven economy, the Maldives imports about 80% of its food, with India being the primary supplier of essentials like rice and vegetables. Without this lifeline, store shelves would go empty fast. In 2025, when a powerful cyclone devastated the islands, it was India that stepped in first, providing $400 million in emergency aid, proving once again it's not just a trade partner, but a reliable first responder in times of crisis. And India's support goes deeper, literally. The Indian Coast Guard actively patrols Maldivian waters, protecting them from piracy, illegal fishing, and other maritime threats. On top of that, with rising sea levels threatening the very existence of this island nation, India is investing in climate tech, including solar-powered desalination plants that are helping secure the Maldives' future. The reality? Without India's support, the Maldives could face food insecurity, environmental disaster, and economic instability. In every sense of the word, this is a partnership that's keeping an island nation afloat. And finally, here's the country that's going to blow your mind. Number 8, the United States. Yes, you heard that right. Even the world's largest economy can't fully thrive without India in 2025. It might sound surprising, but the numbers speak for themselves. India supplies 20% of all generic drugs used in the US, a $50 billion market that plays a huge role in keeping healthcare affordable for millions of Americans. Without those, costs would skyrocket. And let's talk tech. Indian IT giants like TCS and Infosys employ over 150,000 Americans, supporting the digital backbone of 60% of Fortune 500 companies. From banking to retail to aerospace, Indian expertise is behind the scenes, keeping things running. But wait, there's more. In June 2025, India and the US signed a game-changing $10 billion semiconductor deal, a direct move to counter China's tech dominance. That's not just business, that's global strategy. Now factor in India's massive digital influence. With 476 million YouTube users, Indian creators and trends are shaping global content. And yes, even what pops up in your feed. Remove India from the equation, and the US would face drug shortages, tech slowdowns, and supply chain chaos. That's how deeply interwoven these two nations have become. So next time someone underestimates India's global power, remind them, from medicine to microchips, India touches every American life. This isn't just a partnership anymore, it's mutual interdependence, and it's only getting stronger. India's influence in 2025 isn't hype, it's a strategic reality. From the foothills of Nepal to the boardrooms of Silicon Valley, these 8 countries show how India's resources, brainpower, and diplomacy are shaping the very structure of global survival. And if you need any more proof, just look at the recent Air India crash in Namibia, where India's swift response and leadership in the international investigation once again highlighted its rising global role. So which country surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them.
Number 4, Bangladesh. Now let's talk about Bangladesh, a country whose economy is so closely tied to India that even small shifts in the relationship can make a huge impact. Every year, Bangladesh imports around $14 billion worth of goods from India, everything from cotton and cereals to electricity. And in February 2025, when Bangladesh was staring down a potential energy crunch, it was India that stepped up, boosting power exports by 10% and helping the country dodge widespread blackouts. But it's not just about imports. Bangladesh's booming textile industry, the backbone of its economy, sends 40% of its garment exports to India. That's a massive market that keeps factories running and jobs intact. And in 2025, Indian investment in Bangladesh's pharmaceutical sector shot up by $500 million, further strengthening economic ties. There's also a natural connection, shared rivers like the Ganges, where India's water management decisions have a direct effect on Bangladesh's agriculture and food security. So what happens without India? Bangladesh could be looking at trade deficits, energy shortages, and serious agricultural challenges. In short, India isn't just a neighbor. It's a critical economic pillar for Bangladesh.
Number 5. Bhutan tucked high in the Himalayas. Bhutan may be small, but its lifeline to India is huge. Think about this. Over 70% of Bhutan's entire development budget is bankrolled by New Delhi, funding everything from rural roads to the massive hydropower plants that literally keep the lights on. Just this past March 2025, the two countries inked a blockbuster deal to expand the 720-megawatt Mangdechu hydropower plant, a move set to supercharge Bhutan's energy exports and revenue for years to come. Daily life? Also powered by India. Rice, fuel, vehicles, you name it. Virtually all of Bhutan's essentials roll in across the southern border. Pull that support and the Bhutanese economy would hit a brick wall, with shelves emptying in no time. Security is another pillar. India maintains a strategic military presence in Bhutan, shielding the kingdom from potential regional threats. In short, this partnership isn't just convenient, it's Bhutan's economic and security lifeline. Ready for country number 6? Drop the next paragraph whenever you're set. Number 6, Nigeria. Now let's head to Africa, where Nigeria, the continent's most populous country, has built a surprisingly deep reliance on India, especially when it comes to healthcare and technology. In 2025, India supplies 35% of Nigeria's pharmaceuticals, including a staggering 60% of all generic drugs, life-saving treatments that millions of Nigerians depend on every single day. And here's the big news. India's Serum Institute has partnered with Nigeria to produce malaria vaccines locally, a total game changer in the fight against one of the region's deadliest diseases. But it's not just health. India's also powering Nigeria's digital economy. With over 50,000 Indian IT professionals working across Nigerian tech firms, startups, and telecoms, this talent is driving innovation and growth. And if that weren't enough, in 2025, India invested $2 billion into Nigeria's oil refining sector, further cementing a strong economic partnership that benefits both nations. So what happens without India? Nigeria's healthcare system would be strained, its tech sector would slow, and vital infrastructure projects could stall. It's clear, India isn't just helping Nigeria grow, it's helping it thrive.